Look at some of my previews. Wolverine Saga, that one. Yeah. Earth one. What else? Revolution. Second Coming. Love that sketchbook. Snicked at the bottom. Spider-Man Saga. Spotlight. Spotlight. Preview. Hey Fred, good morning. What's up, comic book peeps? Welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. And today we're going to do something different. Being the fact that this video is called Die Hardcovers, I'm going to show you some of my hardcovers and also some of the single issues that I picked up out of that hardcover just because I love the way the single issues look. So without further ado, let's get into our sponsor. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by my fake Darth Maul from China. Alright, so you know how we do on this channel. Let's get into some comics. Or let's get into some hardcovers. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm downstairs in the dungeon watching one of my favorite movies, which is House Party. But this is the Dark X-Men drawn by, his name is Simon Bianchi. You know, it's hard to really pronounce his name, but I think he's an extraordinary artist and definitely love this Dark X-Men run. So here's a cool look at the front of the hardcover. Here's a cool look at the back of the hardcover with your boy Nathan Summers. Is it Nathan Gray? Yeah, it's Nathan Summers. The Age of Apocalypse, Nate Summers, who is basically Cable without the techno-organic virus corrupting him. Very cool, man. Very cool character. Towards the end of this book, they actually had to dumb his powers down because he's way too powerful, which makes me respect Cable even more. So, there's a cool look at the back of the book, drawn by Simon Bianchi. Alright, so let's get into the single issues. Y'all ready? Alright, let's go. So you have Dark X-Men The Beginning. That's actually not in the hardcover, but the next 5 are. So Dark X-Men The Beginning. Dark X-Men 1 with Mystique. I think his name is like Omega. And you have Dark Beast and you have Mimic on the front. I really enjoyed this story. It was very good. So let's keep going. Dark X-Men 2 with Nate Gray on the front. Very cool cover. I definitely love this cover. Dark X-Men number 3. Very cool with Mystique cover. Definitely love Mystique and the Skulls. Very cool cover. Dark X-Men number 4 with my boy Mike Cho on the cover. Definitely love this guy's artwork. It is second to none. Very beautiful cover. Very, very beautiful. You got Norman Osborn with his cornrows. And yeah, very cool. And finally, you have Dark X-Men number 5. Well, when they finally confront Nate Gray. And the cool thing about this is they go inside Norman Osborn's mind. And you actually see that the Green Goblin has a piece of Norman Osborn's mind. So very cool run, man. Definitely love my Dark X-Men. And let's take another look at them. And here's a cool look at the complete run. Don't ask me why I bought the single issues. I was just such a fan of the hardcover that I said, hey, I'll buy each and every single issue. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I'm not worried about it. You know what I'm saying? I just love collecting. And why do we collect? We collect for the monetary value, but we really collect for the love of it. So very cool. All right. Let's get into another hardcover. And this is one of my favorite hardcovers of all time because it actually captures my childhood of the X-Men perfectly, right from the time when I first started reading the X-Men. And this omnibus, because it's called an omnibus because it's like a really, really big run of the X-Men. This omnibus has a lot of important X-Men books, which is very cool. So here's a cool look at the front of it. Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri drawing, Chris Claremont writing. So here's a cool look at the front of the book. Here's a very big look at the side. So like I said, it's a huge book. And I'm going to go ahead and live turn it. Please excuse my sexy fingers in your video. All right, and here's a cool look at the back of the book. And this is all that this omnibus collects. So let's see how many of these books do I actually have in my collection. I actually don't have a lot. I would probably say maybe up to 5 covers out of all these covers. So my hope is to get every cover in this book, including this one. That first one is Girls Night Out, Jubilee's first appearance. And I think Gambit's first appearance is on here. Let's see, where's Gambit's first appearance? There it is. Well, his first cover appearance. So let's see how many Uncanny X-Men we have. Is that a what there at the bottom? What is that doing in here? Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and let's do this run. So this is the first Uncanny X-Men book that I have out of this omnibus. So we're actually starting right about here, which is unfortunate because I really love the X-Men and I really want to beef up my X-Men collection. So this is the first one out of the omnibus with cool Polaris cover. Very cool. And let's keep it moving. The next one is when the Reavers actually crucify Wolverine. This is a very iconic cover. I remember when I first saw this cover, I was like, I have to have it. And I bought it a while ago, and it's a pretty good copy. It's not browning, white pages. And yeah, very cool. The next cover you have is the Reavers. I just recently purchased this right before I went and saw the movie Logan with X-23. And I thought it was pretty cool. The guy actually made me pay $5 for it. I could have probably found it somewhere cheaper, but I've never ran across this book. And anytime I run across an Uncanny X-Men jewel, I'm going to pick it up. I don't care, especially if it's Mark Silvestri or Jim Lee drawing. And I'm almost sure that is a Mark Silvestri drawing. Maybe not. Let's see. No, it's actually Jim Lee. See, Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee sometimes, they would run back to back, so they would confuse me as far as the drawing. But cool Reavers covers. So the next one in the omnibus is actually Uncanny X-Men 258 with the Mandarin versus Wolverine. Very cool cover. Yeah, what more can I say about it? Jim Lee is a beast as far as when it comes to drawing. The next one we have is the Stalker Dazzler cover. Very cool. I'm sure that's Jim Lee. I see his signature right there. Very cool. A stalker for Dazzler, who I think is an incredible character. I actually love Dazzler. So let's keep going. And the next one is a cool Forge issue. I really love this issue. Very cool drawing. That's Forge and Banshee on the front cover. And you have another Forge cover. It's called The Agony of Forge. Very cool military cover. The next cover we have is Baby Storm. This is right before she met Gambit. This is the issue right before Gambit's first appearance. And this is, first cover appearance. And this is Storm at the Mercy of the Hounds. which is very cool. Definitely love this cover, and it's a newsstand. Then we skip to my favorite Uncanny X-Men cover, my favorite comic book cover of all time. This is, if anybody asks me what's my favorite comic book cover, this is it. This is Uncanny X-Men, Captain America, Wolverine, and Black Widow, drawn by Jim Lee. I don't know what it is about this cover, but I definitely love this cover. This Uncanny X-Men 268. I remember a guy tried to sell it to me for $30, and I think I bought this beautiful, beautiful, flawless copy for about $15, maybe $20 off of eBay. One of my only eBay purchases when it comes to comic books. So very cool. And the last book we have out of this omnibus is one of my favorite covers too. This is Miss Marvel versus Rogue. If you are a huge fan of the cartoon series, you definitely would know the episode where Rogue had fought Miss Marvel. I just adore this comic book. I think it's very cool. And it's the last one out of this omnibus. All right, so let's go. So here's a cool look back at him. Here you go. And here you go. Very cool covers. Definitely love my Uncanny X-Men. All right, so let's keep going getting into some hardcovers. All right, and here's one of my favorite hardcovers drawn by Ariel Olivetti. Man, look at this cover, man. You got the Rhino, you got Black Suit Spider-Man. It's called Hunter and Hunted. And basically in this book, let me flip around the back before I even give you the synopsis. See, there you have it. The Punisher versus Kraven the Hunter Jr. That's the son. And it's a very cool comic book. Basically what Kraven the Hunter does is he collects all the supervillains that is considered like animals or whatever, or have an animal kind of character. So it's a very cool. He has like a vial of steroids like around his neck, and then the Punisher is catching them and chopping them in the neck. Ariel Olivetti is like one of my favorite artists when it comes to bigger characters like the Punisher, the Hulk, and he also drew Cable, so it was very cool. So here's a cool look at the back of the book. All right, so let's get into some of the single issues that I bought out of this hardcover. So this is Punisher. So this is Punisher number 13, and definitely love it, man. Definitely love it. Very cool cover. Like I said, I wanted to complete this run in singles, but since I couldn't complete it in singles, I just went ahead and bought the hardcover. And I remember this is one of the cheapest hardcovers I bought. I think I got it for like basically $1 and shipping, so it was about $5. So that's Punisher 13. And lastly, we have Punisher War Journal number 14 with Kraven the Hunter Jr. on the front cover. Like I said, Ariel Olivetti is a beast. I definitely wanted to complete this run, so I just went ahead and picked up hardcovers. And that's what I'll do from time to time. When I really don't have the patience or anything for the single issues, I'll just buy the hardcover so I can have the complete story. So very cool. All right. And I'm just going to throw in this Punisher War Journal number 10. This is a very cool cover by Ariel Olivetti. Ariel Olivetti, very cool, man. This is when Punisher takes off his Captain America outfit and goes back to being the Punisher. Because for a couple issues, he did a tribute to Captain America, who had just died after the Civil War. It's very cool. All right, I got the boys up and downstairs, so you might hear them a little bit in the background. But the next book I have is Joker, The Death in the Family. And I really didn't get too many covers out of this book. Matter of fact, I only got one cover from this book because the rest of the covers basically have the Joker's mask on the front cover. And it might just say whatever character it is, like Batgirl, Death in the Family. And that's basically the same kind of cover that DC used for most of the books that's in this book. Well, with that being said, let me show you the one cover that I did pick up from this book. And here it is. This is the cover that I picked up out of this book. The only cover that I picked up. It's Batman Death in the Family, New 52. And remember, this book cost me it cost me about $5, which was way worth it, man. I definitely love this cover. I think it's a very creepy and cool cover. And this is it Capullo? I think Capullo is in here. I think Capullo did draw it. It's a very, very creepy look at the Joker. This is the Joker that I've always been waiting for. It's almost like a Heath Ledger's Joker. So kudos to Greg Capullo. Very cool cover. And definitely glad to have it in my collection. So let's keep it moving. So this is one of my favorite hardcovers of all time. This is Forever Evil. This is when I was introduced to the Crime Syndicate. Is that their name? Crime Syndicate, who was the Reverse Justice League. And yeah, man, David Finch was on the artwork. Very cool cover. Look at this cover. This has all your DC villains. So it's only two covers I picked up out of this book because it's only two covers that I really, really, really enjoy out of this book. And let's go ahead and show you the covers. And here's your first cover. This is Forever Evil #1, drawn by David Finch. Very cool cover, man. What more can I say about it? You guys know that this is hardcore. Definitely love this cover. So this is the first cover that I bought out of the book. Let's look at the second cover. And here's the next cool cover out of this book. This is the Crime Syndicate of America. Very cool. You have Ultraman, Superwoman. You have the Firestorm kind of guy. You have, what's his name? It was something Ring. What was it? Power Ring. You have Owlman. You have Johnny Quick. And then you have like the cyborg type of dude. And they don't show your girl who's really small. Oh yeah, she's on Johnny Quick's arm right there. She's like the atom of the group. She can downsize and make herself bigger. I don't know if you can see her, but there she is right there. But here's the next cool cover that I got. I definitely became a huge fan of the Crime Syndicate after this book, and I actually had to dig in their past and realize that this is a pretty old group, but I never knew them before Forever Evil. So there you have it. And I apologize I didn't show you the back of the book. That's Ultraman and the Crime Syndicate, drawn by David Finch. And the cool thing about Ultraman is that he actually snorts kryptonite like cocaine. I don't think that's cool. Say no to drugs, but it was a interesting perspective on how he gets his powers. So very cool. All right, so let's keep on going. Keep the video going. So we're at the point of the video where you ask me, hey, Fred Hall, Direct Edition, what are you reading right now? And this is what I'm reading right now. This is Dark Wolverine. This is volume #2. That's a Greg Land cover. And it's a very cool book. Basically what happens is Dakin is he curses a lady out on camera. He says, move, you stupid B word. And the public actually loses faith in Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, and Norman devises a plan to make Wolverine or Dakin look like a hero. So that's why it's called My Hero. So here's a cool look at the front of the Greg Land cover. And here's a cool look at the back of the cover. Now remember, the boys are downstairs, so they're pretty loud, but that's my babies. But here's a cool look at the back of the cover. Very cool. All right, so let's get into some of your main events. All right, you ready? Here we go. For your first main event, we have Cable #1 and also to the hardcover. Here's a cool look at the front of the hardcover. And here's a cool look at the back of the hardcover. Very cool. And just for your enjoyment, I'm going to throw in Cable #6. Very cool Eddie Gradoff cover. N9, basically Ariel Olivetti. That's the Incredible Hulk cover swipe. So you have Cable 1, 6, and 9. 1 and 9 is Ariel Olivetti, and number 6 is Eddie Gredoff. Very cool. Your second main event is Dark Avengers. Very cool hardcover. I know I always show this hardcover, and I show this cover swipe a lot, but it's one of my favorites, and it'll always be, any chance I get in a main event. Drawn by Mike Deodato, which is a very cool artist. And yeah, so here's a cool look at the front of the book. And here's a cool look at the back of the book, where the actual cover swipe, well, it's actually, the back of the book actually has the cover swipe on it. Bring on the bad guys. I definitely love this era of Marvel, and I think it's a very cool era during Dark Reign. So very cool. All right, let's check out your next main event, which is very cool. Your next main event is Dark Avengers, Uncanny X-Men, Utopia. On the actual hardcover, it says Utopia, Avengers, and X-Men. But very cool cover drawn by my boy Mark Silvestri, who I've been, a fan of since I was a little kid. So I think this is a cool third and last main event. So here's a cool look at the front of the book. And here's a cool look at the back of the book, drawn by my boy Jay Lee. Very cool. Definitely love Jay Lee's artwork. Been a fan of his since I was a little kid. Very cool. All right, and there you have it. I had a lot of fun making this video, so I think I might do it again. Die Hardcovers Part 1. We might do a Die Hardcovers Part 2 because I have more single issues that I picked up outside of my hardcovers. And so, once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. You guys and girls be safe out there. I pray that everything that you put your hands on turns into gold. And I will catch you girls and guys later. Be safe out there. Peace.